The new Tesla chairwoman is speaking out, and it's, I think, one of the first public comments that she made, and they're already making some controversy because it looks like she may not be as independent as a lot of people, and definitely not SEC might have thought original. I'll tell you all about it coming up next. Taking over the world, electrifying the world, E4 Electric. Welcome to E4 Electric, your number one source of unbiased electric car news. If this is your first time here, that's perfectly fine. All you have to do is click on that subscribe button down there, so that way you won't miss anything moving forward, and of course become a part of this amazing community. All right, let's talk about Robyn Denholm. She was a board member for a while, for a few years, but recently, as you know, Elon got in a few big trouble with these guys. SEC, as part of the settlement that they had last fall, was that Elon Musk would have to be replaced for at least 3 years by an independent chairperson, and they've picked her. She is still serving out her last, I think, few weeks as a CFO of a communications company in Australia. So she hasn't fully transitioned, but she's been already introduced as the new chair. And, a lot of people, and including SEC, and the whole point was that she would be independent. And by the way, whether you like her or Elon Musk or SEC or not or whatever, just everybody just kind of needs to understand that, the way the world goes around is that when you're running a public company, you want the chairman of the board be independent of the CEO of the company. Usually they're the same person in the beginning. When it's a smaller company, sometimes they can't even afford, paying or get a very good chairman of the board. And originally, but then things split up. For example, Biden recently had, took Carson, who was the CEO of the company, and just stripped him of that title so he can just be the chairman of the board. And their president, Daniel, became CEO of president. So, they did the right thing. Elon really didn't want to do that, and I think a lot of people were okay with it. But nevertheless, this is where we're at now. She is finally speaking out. I believe she gave an interview to the local television station there, and it's all over the news because the things that she said essentially make her look like a mini me for Elon, right? Mini Elon, really. And some of them is really just baffling. I have to say, if I were her, I would probably just not say those things in general, because I don't think she's trying to prove anything right now. As if anything, she would be proving that she's independent, and this is not the way to do it. So let me give you a couple of quotes. Before that, really quickly, I just want to remind you guys that this video and this channel is sponsored by Accelerate Auto, the third-party extended warranty for electric cars, including Tesla Model 3, and their warranties go up to 125,000 mile coverage, only $100 deductibles, and specifically for you guys, my audience, they have issued us a discount code of $100. Check it out in the description of this video, and that's where you can also apply for yours. All right, so let me give you this first quote. These quotes are very short but lethal. So the first one is right here. It just basically says, she said, he uses it wisely, as they were talking about Elon Musk using Twitter. He uses it wisely. I mean, is he? I think even bigger Tesla fans believe that there are a few tweets that they can definitely live without. Obviously, we're talking about 420 tweet. Obviously, we're talking about the pedophile tweet and a few others. If anything, like, for example, a lot of people might agree with some of his controversial tweets, but they also agree that maybe putting it out there as a CEO of the company, which essentially ended up hurting the company or reputation or himself, probably wasn't the wisest thing. So when somebody says that he's using Twitter wisely, it's definitely a little bit weird, right? Now, maybe she meant that he uses Twitter, generally speaking, like wisely in terms of being in touch with customers, replying to some of the customer concerns, also showing some of his personal sides. So, like, I can agree with that, right? Like, I think it makes him and the company more customer friendly, even though it's really not, as you probably know, not just from my personal experience. All right, but let's move on to the second quote. And this was even more baffling. So she goes on and says, I don't think he poses any challenges. The company is running very well. Okay, I'm not really sure if you don't think a major lawsuit from SEC that actually put you in charge, and then now a request from the same agency to hold the CEO in contempt that's been going on and on and on, and essentially affecting stock even in some ways. If you don't think it's at least a challenge, I'm starting to question your, you know, a common sense, a possession of common sense, which I think is very important, for being a chairwoman of any company. And then she goes on, company is running very well. Well, even per Elon's estimation, I think company is not running very well because, well, first of all, you wouldn't have to be in the middle of this SEC mess, but also, the pricing going up and down all over the place, and closing and opening of the stores is a bit of a mess. So I don't think that means that the company is running very well. And of course, there are still kind of production issues here and there, and some of the challenges. So I don't know. I wouldn't say that the company is running very well yet. I mean, we're only a few months away from production health still. So that just by definition doesn't add up. Yeah. All right. Well, that's what's happening. So let me break this down into some positives and some negatives. All right, so if I had to find any positives here, I would say that obviously, a good communication is important. And the fact that she is actually out there speaking her mind and telling us what she's all about, which maybe not be what I or other people or SEC wants, but nevertheless, we understand her position a little bit better now. So any type of, public communication is definitely good. It's also good to know where she stands. Obviously, it does seem like she will just be, sort of mini Elon there, and maybe some things won't change, or maybe as she's getting the first taste of sort of public feedback, if you will, and maybe if she sees that people have started kind of raising their eyebrows a little bit, including myself, maybe she will maybe even rethink or reevaluate, if not at least what she's all about as far as a chairwoman of the board of Tesla, but at least how she makes the statements, and how it affects the company and the stock and so forth. So I think that's a positive thing. And again, any honest communication is good. Now, the negative, of course, is the fact that just based on these statements, not only it appears that she doesn't really, maybe not even 100% in touch with reality and what's happening with the company, but also she may not be that independent as far as her opinion is concerned about what's happening. And again, maybe that means that what SEC was trying to accomplish, and quite a few other investors and just fans of the brand were asking for, which is, independent person. And again, you guys may like or not like all of this, but the fact is the way corporations work is that the board is supposed to make sure that the executive staff, including the CEO of the company, is doing their jobs. And it's kind of hard to do when you're a little bit too on the same page with that person. You're kind of a mini version of that person. So that doesn't really help the company. And again, even for you guys who are really, really big Elon fans and Tesla fans, this is supposed to be a good thing. The independent chairperson is a good thing. And again, right now, I'm not really sure if that's the case, but it is what it is. At least we met her now. We know what she's all about. And I appreciate that. Let me know in the comment section what you think about that. Also, I want to give a quick shout out to one of my one of my newer Patreons, Gene Lindsay. Thank you so much, Gene, for joining my Patreon community, the only place where you can watch me live. And thank you to all of my Patreons for contributing to this independent YouTube channel. And I really, really appreciate it. If you guys want to become one of the contributors, you can go in the description of this video. There's a link which just led right here into the slide, patreon.com/electric. And become a part of my community. I really do appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. And thank you, Gene, for joining me. All right. Looking forward to the comments. And other than that, I will see you guys next time. And remember to stay charged.